Hello and welcome to the City Show. We're back in the studio this week to talk about 3 different topics, including a major dog rescue by the Warren County Humane Association. We'll also take a look at what our Lebanon Theatre Company is doing to get through this pandemic. But up first, if you need help keeping up with your heating bills this winter, if you do, then you should get to know the Warren County HEAP program. Here to tell us about that is Linda Schneider. Linda, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
What does HEAP stand for?
HEAP stands for Home Energy Assistance Program.
Okay.
And we help residents with their utility bills.
Okay. Do you have to qualify to get that assistance?
You do. It's income-based. And for a one-person household, they can make up to $18.35 monthly.
Okay. So is it set up to where once they qualify, they're locked in and they get that assistance every month? Or do they have to re-qualify as a crisis every month?
No, it's a one-time benefit.
Okay.
Our program runs from November 1st to March 31st.
Okay.
And it is based on your income.
Okay. So it's seasonal?
Seasonal,
okay.
yes.
So is there a season after that with the air conditioning too, when people have other challenges?
Yes.
You guys step in there too?
Yes.
Okay.
We have our summer program that usually runs from July 1st to August 31st.
Okay.
And it's usually towards our elderly population, 60 years or older, or anybody with a chronic medical condition.
So I take it this is a federally funded program,
Correct.
but it's managed by the state. How long has this been around, and what's the overall purpose of the program?
It has been around since 1981, and it is to benefit residents with their utility bills to stop a disconnection on their service.
Yeah, well that's life-threatening.
Yes.
You know, and I imagine people are probably pretty grateful when they come in. And do you recall any stories where you might have touched some people's lives? And
I would say a single parent.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say female or male. It's a single parent.
Wow.
Because I was a single parent also, and just knowing my story encouraged them.
Yeah.
To know that they can succeed after our assistance.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And you've been there with HEAP how long?
Since 2011.
Okay. And you doing this all yourself, or you have some helpers there?
Oh, I have a bunch of help. I do have a
Okay.
bunch of help. I have 4 full-timers and 2 part-time, and also have a person in another department. She handles our senior services, and she does our home visits for our elderly clients that are 60 years or older.
Now, this is obviously administered through Warren County, so do they come down and meet with you? Can they do this online to get a hold of you?
We used to do face-to-face, but due to COVID, we are only doing phone interviews. And we do home visits for our elderly population, 60 years or older, and our senior coordinator does that for us.
Okay. Now, you had touched on it earlier as far as what you have to do to qualify. Okay, can you go over that again? Because sometimes people might not. Whoa, wait a second.
Yeah.
So get your pen, see if you qualify. How do you qualify for this?
First, you have to be income eligible, and you can find that on our website at wccsi.org, and it will show you all the documents that we require and the income eligibility requirements. We also require it's based on your income, so we collect wages, Social Security benefits is part of the income, TANF, OWF money, child support. If you are a seasonal worker, which would be school workers, landscapers, home businesses, we do collect 12 months of income, and there is a documentation that needs to be filled out, and that's also on our website. And anybody that's self-employed, there's documentation that needs to be filled out for 12 months.
Okay.
And they can also find that on our website also.
So what qualifies as income?
The wages, Social Security benefits, TANF money.
IRAs?
No.
Investments?
Unemployment.
Okay.
And any self-employment.
Okay. And I imagine since this is seasonal, can they apply for both seasons? And can they keep coming in? Is there a point where you just say, no, that's it, we don't have any more? Or can they continue to do that?
They can, our program runs from November 1st to March 31st, and it's a one-time benefit. So they can come one time between those months. And then we also have a summer program that runs July 1st to August 31st, and again, it's a one-time benefit.
Yeah. I don't know if you've noticed, but I think a lot of people out there, they function out of just necessity right away, and they might not be aware of what you do. What happens if somebody's power or their electric, their heat is just cut off? Can they get a hold of you, and how quick can they get assistance, and does it happen often?
It has happened,
Yeah.
yes. They would need to call our appointment line at 513-970-6737.
Wow.
And it'll go through the prompts to get a
Okay.
hold of us. They do have an option of getting a call back, and they also have an option to make an actual appointment.
Okay, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
This last year has been crazy.
Yes.
What has it done as far as the number of people contacting you? Have you seen more people contacting you or less, or is there no difference?
They're at the beginning, usually
Yeah.
we're slammed with phone calls. It has slowed down a little bit, and that's why we're trying to reach out to as many Ohioans out there as we can in Warren County, because we're scared that people don't know enough about our program. We're trying to get the word out, and we're just wanting to help as many residents as we can in Warren County.
There's help out there, folks. You know, and again, sometimes we all need it. So reach out, get the help, and let's get through this and get past it. Have the appointments been kind of weird with the COVID? With it, most of it's online now?
It's we do phone interviews.
Yeah.
There is an online option for clients to apply. If people that are wanting financial assistance, we do ask them to call our appointment line.
Okay.
So that way one of our staff can speak with them and go over the documentation that's required.
Okay.
And try to help them out.
You obviously love what you do.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
that makes a big difference. Appreciate you having you here today. Is there anything else that we need to know? Did I miss anything?
Yes, we have another department that we work with at Warren County Community Services, and they have a home relief grant that they have right now that assists with mortgage and rental assistance and water assistance, and they can be reached at 513-695-2100, and you'll have to push option 5.
Yeah.
We also have a program, I don't know if people are aware, that Dolly Parton's Imagination Library.
Yeah.
We have a lady there that helps with applying for that.
Okay.
And you can reach her at that same number at 513-695-2100.
Wow, you're just a wealth of information. No cards or anything. Way to go. Thank you again for what you do. Appreciate you. We'll be back. Stay tuned. Joanne Hurley from the Humane Association of Warren County will join us after this break to talk about another hoarding rescue that they were part of recently.
Break your fast food habit at Kelly's Meats and Deli at 1001 West Main Street in Lebanon. Stop in for a quick lunch featuring made-to-order sandwiches, tasty sides, and mouth-watering daily specials. For dinner, Kelly's offers fresh-cut steaks, chops, and seafood, plus a variety of prepared dishes that only need to be reheated. You'll also find a large selection of high-quality wine and beer that can make any meal a special event. Kelly's Meats and Deli open 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Tuesday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, now open for dinner Saturdays 6 to 9 p.m. And remember, we cater too.
When it comes to healthcare, the most common question I get is, are you on our insurance? Well, we're probably not because we don't accept insurance, but our prices are extremely fair and you're going to get great care. So if your plan is to get great care, we are your plan. We offer chiropractic, fitness programs, massage, and clinical nutrition. So if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, call our office, schedule for a free consultation so we can discuss any question you have and get you well.
Call now to schedule your free initial consultation.
Since 1954, Hardee's Interiors has been providing quality furnishings for homes in and around Lebanon, Ohio. Today, you'll still find quality antique and vintage furniture along with new made-in-America furniture of all styles. At Hardee's, you can create a mix of furniture and accessories that truly reflects your personality, all made to last a lifetime. Designers are welcome and so are you. Hardee's Interiors at 208.5 Wright Avenue or online at hardeesinteriors.com.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Welcome back to the City Show. We're here with Joanne Hurley from Humane Association of Warren County. We're going to talk a little bit about the population explosion that you've had at the shelter recently due to a rescue in West Virginia. What in the world are you doing out in West Virginia?
Well, I think, first of all, if you're going to call yourself an animal advocate, you can't just say, I'm only going to be an animal advocate here.
Yeah.
You have to be ready to mobilize when that call comes down. So that's kind of what took us to West Virginia.
Okay. And when you got out there, what did you see?
It was very rural, very backwoods kind of country.
Okay.
I just, had explained a little bit about there was no physical address to this place. We only had a longitude and latitude and had to have a guide kind of take us onto some dirt roads and railroad tracks and things like that to actually back in the holler. Yeah.
And we're going to get some pictures coming up here. There we go. So this is at West Virginia.
Yeah, and so total, I think there was around 74 dogs.
Yeah.
And we weren't the only rescue.
So is that a
on
little
this.
kennel that they have made there for the dog?
It's kind of, there were some dog houses.
Okay.
There was some yard trash just kind of put up to make a makeshift shelter. Most of the dogs were on chains in the beginning. However, the family
that doesn't look like good conditions.
No, it was not good conditions. And, this was kind of a vast area.
Okay.
And at one point, the dogs were released from their chains. So when we got there to pick up the remaining dogs, it was, they were just running everywhere.
So were they pretty happy? Not the dogs, but were the people there pretty happy to see you, or did you have a court order to get the dogs?
We
did
have a court order. We partnered with a group that's based out of New York called Guardians of Rescue, and they take on these large-scale hoarding or breeding operations. They secure the warrants. They deal with the sheriff's office. They get us in safely, basically.
Now, what effect does living conditions like that have on a dog?
Well, some of the dogs that were taken out of there had chains embedded in their necks where they had been on them so long and grown. We got mothers.
So the tissue just grew over the chain.
Yeah, and
that's
a really terrible removal. Yeah, it's really sad. I guess the one good thing is that the dogs were of healthy weight, so they had been being fed. However, these dogs are not the most socialized.
Okay. Now, I remember your last rescue out here with the poodles, and they were in very, very bad shape. Were these dogs in better shape than the poodles?
So these dogs were a little better simply because of their coats.
Yeah.
The poodles get the long curly hair that tangles really easy. Most of these dogs were pretty short-haired dogs, so they were muddy and dirty and, a lot of parasites, things like that. So, but the coats weren't as bad.
Was this a collaborative effort with another humane association somewhere else, or is this all you?
So, like the Guardians of Rescue is who called us in, and they, like I said, they handle these big, large-scale situations. They get all the paperwork in order, the warrants, the contracts with the sheriff, things like that. And then they call in various other rescues to help remove the dogs.
So how many dogs in all were at the West Virginia?
I think the last count I got was about 74.
And how many came home with you?
We took 23.
Okay. And has placement and adoption for those dogs, has it been successful already?
So right now, when we do a hoarding case like this, it kind of takes a village to get these animals ready. We have a lot of them that have a parasite that's not, we don't see it a lot, but it's called lungworm.
Okay.
A lot of them had that, and it may be indicative to that area. So we have a lot of them on treatment right now. It is curable and it is treatable. We're also doing behavior modification currently. So we have to get these dogs used to associating a a good thing with human presence. So we start off with what's called a drive-by. And when a dog is in its kennel, we just walk past, we don't make eye contact, and we toss like a really good piece of chicken or hot dog. So they start associating that with, hey, every time I see Joanne, I get some chicken or hot dogs. And it kind of helps to, start reinforcing that bond and getting them ready for human interaction.
How long does that process take to prepare them for the adoption?
A lot of people ask me that, and my answer is always the same. I have to let the dogs tell me. Some dogs come around really quickly. Some dogs take a lot longer. We are making a lot of progress. We're now starting to get tail wags. We're getting, we don't touch the dogs. We allow the dog to touch us. And we're starting to get that in return now. So it's moving along, but the dog always has to tell us when it's ready.
Now, you mentioned it takes a village. So is there a group of people out there who watch you online who are aware of what you're doing and have kind of partnered up? And when you go through a crisis like this, they call you up and be like, can we help?
Absolutely. So even on my own personal Facebook, before we went on this rescue, I had put out, hey, I'm looking for a list of volunteers that can mobilize quickly and head out on one of these rescues. And we actually took some volunteers with us this time, and they were a huge help.
But all the dogs come back and they all get processed. Okay.
Yeah.
And as far as the timing for things to be back to normal in the home, do you have room for dogs out here? Is the place so big? Because I think we underestimate how large.
It is, and people that come in that I do tours with are often like, wow, I didn't realize this, because most people only see the front part of the shelter, which is the public area, the adoption areas. But when we take people in the back, they go, wow, we didn't realize there's a whole nother shelter in the background of what's going on here. So we have plenty of room, still room for our Warren County residents and animals. And, that's one thing that when we get the call for these rescues, we have to mobilize there at the shelter. Not only the stuff that we have to take with us, the people we have to take with us, but we have to do some shifting and make sure that we have plenty of kennels for our Warren County residents, along with taking these dogs on as well.
Now, where are you at with the coronavirus as far as shutdown and hours?
So right now we're back open to the public. Masks are required. We ask for social distancing, and things are going pretty normal. Like I said, other than the mask, and we're hopeful that it'll stay that way.
Is there a concern about the dogs getting the virus? Do the dogs get tested too?
No, the dogs don't get tested, and that theory is still a little up in the air. They've had some zoo animals that have tested positive. Whereas they think the animals can get it, they don't think that they can spread it.
Okay.
So that's kind of where it's at, and I think with the coronavirus, it's ever changing and ever evolving. And we get our updates daily, just like everybody else.
Now, have you increased or decreased through the pandemic over this past year? What's business like?
So business has been fantastic. Like, people have been so responsive to bringing an animal in their home, especially with so many people working at home. They've just been so responsive, and it's honestly allowed us to go out and help other shelters that are in need or overcrowded. And so it's been a really interesting journey to watch how this has unfolded. And like I said, people have just been great about it. Adoptions are soaring right now.
Adoption's a big thing. Is there something that you can recommend if someone's out there considering adopting and becoming a first-time pet owner? Any special considerations or things you might want to share with them?
Well, we love for people to come in. It's the best way to get to know someone. It's the best way to know what animal is going to fit their lifestyle and fit their needs. We love to talk to people. We want to get to know the families. These animals are like our kids. So we're pretty protective over them. And that's what we love about this whole series. This whole thing is just come in and talk to us. If you've ever thought about it, you don't have to adopt that day, but come talk to us. What
variety of breeds were at the West Virginia rescue?
So it's It's kind of hard to say. There were some that looked like retriever mixes, like golden retriever mixes. There were some that looked a little bit like corgis. And then there may be a Shepherdie mix in there as well.
Yeah. You know, you look at a situation like that, and this was not your first rodeo.
No.
Obviously, the person who started this, they had good intentions, and it just got out of control, where they didn't want to say no, and they probably thought, well, they're not going to, they can't possibly be anywhere better than here. And the lady, I understand from what you said earlier, did she pass on, and then this was part of the?
Yeah, she had passed away, and the shelter that's there in West Virginia, it's a very, very nice people, very dedicated people that run it, but it's a small shelter. They only have about 8 kennels, and they just knew that this was bigger than what they could handle, which is what led them to contact the Guardians of Rescue. And it's always important to talk about, in these situations, you know, a lot of people, they want blood, you know, they want to see this person punished. But it's important to talk about the fact that this is a mental illness, and we're not there just to help the pets. We're there to help that person too, or the person's family in this case. And we're not out for punitive action. You know, we want to help where we can.
It's all about healing. Yeah.
All about healing.
Hey, how do we get a look at these little puppies and kittens and dogs and that are now on? Is that online if people want to see it? Or?
Yeah, we're most active on our Facebook page, and it's the Humane Association of Warren County. I know a lot of people were curious when I got back, and I think we did our last live video at like 1:30 in the morning when we got back. But the next day we did go through and show some of the dogs and the types and the breeds and talked about it a little bit. So our Facebook page is always probably the best place to see. We also do live videos of our adoptable animals. So that's the place to look and see what we have.
Wow. How long did that whole rescue take? Are you out there for a couple of days?
We started on that particular rescue. We got called into it, and then there was some legality issues with the family, and we thought we weren't going to go.
Yeah.
Saturday night, they called us back and said, look, we really need help. Like, can you guys mobilize? And so I called my crew, which my crew makes it possible for me to, you know, go out and do these missions and everything. And I called my crew, and everybody was on board, and we mobilized. We met at the shelter about 5 o'clock in the morning, took off, and didn't get back until about 1:30 at night.
So that's one trip. Do you have trucks that go out there? That
we took the shelter van and packed it with supplies, medical, you know, crates, things like that. But this time we actually rented a U-Haul. And took it down so that we could safely house all the animals to bring them back.
Okay. Sounds like an adventure.
It was an adventure.
They can make a movie of your life. Yeah. And your friends who went with you, how many people in your team?
So let's see, there was 1, 2, 3, 4. There was about 6 of us that went down. So, and it was really nice because they're so willing and they're so gracious when I pop up. You know, I told them the night before, Saturday night, when I called them, I'm like, okay, if I'm calling you at 9 o'clock at night, you know something's up, and they all, you know, said, yeah, we'll be there. We'll be there.
So as you come away from that part of your crew get attached to some of these dogs and want to adopt them?
We always get attached, and it's always hard working at the shelter. You know, most of us have multiple dogs. I myself have 5. Wow. And it's really hard not to take that extra dog home, but we have such a great adoption counseling team there that it's easy to know that we're going to place these dogs and we're going to place them in good homes.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thanks for sharing that adventure.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Anything else as far as what's going on upcoming at the shelter?
Well, we've, you know, over the past year, we've had to cancel just about every fundraising event, and 2 of the events that we have is our spring garage sale and our Christmas Cause for the Paws.
Yeah.
And we've had to cancel those, and we're hoping that in March we can get our spring garage sale back up and going. And another way to get involved with the shelter and to help out the animals that we take in is to look at our wish list, our Amazon wish list, and send things in, even things so small like a jar of peanut butter go so far at the shelter in enrichment activities and things like that. So you don't have to be rich to donate. You just have to want to get involved.
Well, that's fantastic. I appreciate what you do, and thanks
Thank you.
for sitting on the couch with us again.
Thank you.
We'll be back right after this break with Wayne Dunn and Ted Hennis from the Lebanon Theatre Company.
The vaping industry spends millions marketing their products to young people. They think they can fool you with the flavors and packaging, but they don't tell you about the toxic and addictive chemicals inside. To learn more, visit sapcwarrencounty.org.
You told me not to talk to strangers. You told me not to cross the street without looking both ways.
You told me not to touch the stove.
You told me not to do drugs.
You told me not to drink and drive.
You gave me so many messages about how to stay safe. Why didn't you keep me safe by properly storing your gun?
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes, and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self, and I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool. To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to the City Show. I'm joined now by Wayne Dunn and Ted Hennis of the Lebanon Theatre Company. Now, it was almost a year ago, it was March 8th, 2020, that the Lebanon Theatre Company's performance of the musical comedy Murders of 1940 turned out to be your last on-stage show of the year. We all know why. We're checking in with you guys to see what's going on. I know you've been busy. How are things going?
Busy in a reduced way.
Yeah.
There are a lot of details and things that we have to take care of, but not the normal revving up for a full stage show yet. So.
Glad 2020's passed us, I bet.
Yeah, can't wait till 2021 is cleared with everybody getting vaccines and are comfortable coming back to the theater. You wouldn't believe the modifications we did. Wow. We took out 3 full rows of seats, and we purchased plexiglass to go in between the seats in the remaining rows, and we got a variance and everything from the health department. So we're ready to go.
Both the state and the Warren County, yeah.
Yeah, the state of Ohio and Warren County Health Department. And we want to get ready to go, but we're still not comfortable. And I don't think people right now are still going to be comfortable to come out. But
well, I think with the vaccines being out there, I think people, have more hope. I heard from somebody earlier that they reduced the distancing from 6 to 3 feet. I haven't confirmed that, but I would think that would be a good thing for you. Ted, would you like to say something to the people of just the community as far as their outpouring of help? And
we are so grateful for our community. Lebanon's got a great community. We've been supported by the city council, the Warren County Commission, but then the people that came to our fundraiser in, when was it, October? September, October at Market 640. We exceeded our financial goals, which is keeping us alive right now, so that we can pay our bills and take care of all that other good stuff.
Keep the lights on. Yeah.
Keep the lights on.
Let's back up and just reflect on that event at Market 640. What were your feelings? Were you kind of blown away by just the support and the love that you got from the community?
We were blown away in the preparatory stage because both Kim at Market 640 and her sister, and Linda Schneider, who was the head of downtown Lebanon, did I say it right?
Yeah. Main Street Lebanon.
Main Street Lebanon. I'm sorry, I've known it through different variations and I get them mixed up a little bit. Anyway, they stepped up and said something ought to be done and we ought to be able to save the theater in Lebanon, and so they sort of became this ball of energy that pulled us all in and gave us the support we needed.
So what's the status now regarding the bills, the rent? Is it the assistance that's taking care of things? Is there revenue coming in from any of the other projects that you've worked on?
No.
No, we haven't gotten any kind of revenue stream yet.
Okay.
We do have some projects, but they're virtual.
Okay.
And excuse me.
We've had donations that have come in recently.
Wow.
Still from after that fundraiser, and so we're still thrilled about that. But yeah, we don't have any regular scheduled ticket prices. We have events scheduled.
Yeah.
We're here because we have things going on and are getting ready to do things, but we don't have that audience yet.
So you're talking about your virtual shows?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell us about those?
Well, we started with one in December, and it was. Now I went blank on that one. I've got my notes for the rest of them, and I have a blank for that
and
one.
How are people able to watch
it was Archie
these
Andrews
performances?
By the internet.
Okay.
With our screen. And we have a date for each one where we make it available for the first night. So it's sort of like an opening night.
Oh, nice.
And then it's kept on the site so that people can go back and look at it for years, or maybe they want to forget it for years. I don't know.
Is there some way that you're able to monetize these events and these shows to help pay the bills? And
well, we thought, since we're doing this by Zoom, and each of the cast members has to have a really strong internet connection for this to work.
Okay.
Because they do it from their home.
Oh my goodness.
We don't meet to rehearse at all.
Yeah.
It's all done by Zoom meetings and notes and everything else back and forth that way. And so then it's edited and printed and put online. Okay. So it just, and that's pretty fast when it happens, a couple of days after they film it.
But we do ask for donations.
Okay.
If people would like to donate on that screen, they can click the little button at the bottom to help us out.
You never have enough donate buttons on your website.
Yes. Got donate buttons all over the place.
So when is the first performance?
Okay, Wayne, you're on. You've got.
Or should I say the next upcoming performance?
The next upcoming performance is what we're doing in association with Playhouse in the Park.
Okay.
And they're doing their shows for children virtually also. But you can find the link through our website and then our explanation of what's going on, and then they will be connected to the Playhouse in the Park, where it's a live directed thing that's streamed that way.
And what's that called? It's a snowy day?
A snowy day,
yeah.
A
snowy day.
We had a wind in the willows.
Yeah.
And now we're having a snowy day. And the way I like to explain a snowy day is, remember when you were a kid and you went out in the magic of snow for the first time?
A couple days ago for a lot of people.
Well, but I'm saying for us it's pretty, but it's also a problem because we have to go out and shovel it out. But that sense of discovery, that sense of wonder, that sense of being that happened in the snow, that's sort of what that show is about.
Okay.
It's about these kids. There's music involved in it too. So.
And everyone's filming their part at their home, online.
Well, for our shows, yes.
Yeah.
That show is part of Playhouse in the Park, so we host them every year.
Okay, okay.
And the next one coming up is one of theirs also. It's the Wind in the Willows. Is that right? No, Snowy Day, and then...
Then it's our stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Our productions.
Yeah. That's why I have papers, because with our stuff, Playhouse in the Park stuff, and we're not in there every day dealing with it and so forth. So, yeah, Archie Andrews, the Christmas shopping episode was in November, Then we had brought a lot of the singers from the community and from the Lebanon Theatre Company together. We did a Christmas Jubilee. We didn't announce it. We just filmed it and just put it up so people during Christmas time could have local talent singing their favorite songs. Then the next radio program, because these are all radio scripts, the actual ones from real shows that were done back in the 50s.
That's a great idea.
Is Blondie.
Whose brilliant idea was that? The shift to let's go radio for a while.
I don't know what other theater company we borrowed that idea from, but there are several who were doing different things, and people trying all kinds of inventive ways to get back on the stage again. But Playhouse in the Park is filmed and then broadcast, but only for a short time. It's only on for like 3 days, I think.
Where do they film it at?
They do that at Playhouse.
Okay.
Somewhere in the facilities at Playhouse with their live actors.
Now, life after COVID, do we have indications as far as when we're going to be able to get back into the theater that you've made so safe for everybody now?
Hopefully in the summer.
Okay.
I think, or maybe a little bit later in the summer. I think it depends on the vaccines and how that plays out and how many people get to feel safe again so they can come into the theater. Our other problem is even though we're allowed to have an audience that wears masks, we can rehearse with masks on the stage with our actors and actresses, but when you're doing a show, you can't have a mask on because it blocks
muffles
your parts and your lines. So our actors and actresses have to feel comfortable being on the stage, talking or even singing because of the droplets. So we have to be very safe with that, and we have to know that our patrons and our audience is safe.
Yeah, and I'm sure you have all the right precautions, and people are going to be very, very safe with what you guys have done.
We have a protocol set up where we're going to fog down the entire theater after every performance, clean every sheet, clean all the dividers between things and the floors and everything else before we let anybody back in, which makes doing a matinee and an evening performance really tough. Too much work to do to get it all done and settled before the next time for the next show.
So you have an outside service that takes care of that for you?
No, we bought a fogger machine.
Okay.
That we can either steam or fog and just do the whole room, bomb it all at once.
That's probably saved a lot. Okay, so the people who are donating can feel good knowing that you guys are really being smart with the money spent. Because it would have been easier to go the other route, just have somebody else come in. So way to go. Yeah.
We never do contracting when it's more feasible to do it in-house. So.
Okay.
Yeah, our volunteers that are part of the theater group are wonderful people. They come in and build stuff, clean stuff, help us with ushers and all that other stuff. So we're
guys
sort of self-contained.
One big family.
Yeah.
And how touched were you as you go through this stuff at that last event, that last fundraiser? I'm sure some of your donors came up and probably gave you, some good words of encouragement and hope, because hope runs dry after a while. So did that help fill a bucket of your hope?
We were amazed at the response, yes, and overcome by how much people gave their approval to what we're doing. By donating to the cause so that the theater company didn't fade away. It still boggles my mind.
Yes, it would be a shame if we didn't have live theater in downtown Lebanon.
Yeah, well, you guys are keeping that institution alive for us, and fortunately we have some wonderful people who love and believe in what you do, and it's not going away. I'm looking forward to the summer, a big event. I know it's difficult, almost impossible to plan for that because you have to wait for the government.
Right.
When you're waiting for the government, it's kind of crazy. But hope. We're hope for the summer for things getting back to some normalcy here.
We go off Broadway too, in a sense. Like when they closed, we knew we would be out of it too because people would not say, they're closed, you can't be open. Plus, they had the head of the center of the epidemic at first. But they're talking now about some of the Broadway shows coming back in May.
Good. Wow.
And most of Broadway will be back by the end of the year.
So as go Broadway, so goes the rest of the performance. Yeah,
I think
that's a
so.
good thing.
I think
yeah.
it's when that's safe, because they have 1,600 people at one time coming in. That would be a super incubator if it were a problem. And we don't. We're spacing people out and taking precautions.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we've gone from a maximum of like, what is it, 110,
110.
down to about 60.
Yeah.
So with the parameters that the health department and the state of Ohio have put on us, I think we're very, very safe.
Okay.
We just won't be able to congregate or take intermissions or, come in, sit down, watch the show, and out you go.
Wow.
But,
and I want to give a shout out to the health department too, who came out and visited our site and talked with us about different options and whatever, so that we could get that done.
Yeah, they're not the enemy. They're there to help you.
No,
and that's a good observation.
Yeah,
Thank you.
The Warren County Health Department was like,
yeah,
they were like our angels. They sort of helped us. Matter of fact, they even helped me draft the letter to the state. So they knew what we wanted to do, and they knew what they wanted us to do, and it all worked out for the best.
Well, hopefully Broadway will open up down there, and then we can get things going out here. How do people follow the Lebanon Theater if they want to know how do we support you guys, and when is the next show coming up? How do they determine that?
Well, you can go on our website, www.ltcplays.com.
Okay.
And it has an outline of all the things coming up, including if you want to be in our Miss Brooks, which is the next one coming up after Blondie. You can go online and fill out an information sheet, and then I will be looking at those different ones and pulling people out to do the different radio voices.
Okay, okay.
And so that's one place to find out where they can not only get involved, not only watch it, but also be part of it.
And guess what? There's a donation button there.
Yeah, there's one there.
There's one there
Just
too.
one?
Just
on that page.
On that page, right.
Okay. Well, that's wise, and you guys are being smart and allowing people to come alongside you. It's difficult, but you get to see all the love, and I'm sure you're getting to see a lot of that. And again, I'm looking forward to coming on the other side of this and celebrating. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we go?
Well, a couple other things are coming up. In April, we have another Playhouse in the Park thing. It's called Dragons Love Tacos, a very popular children's book that we had to cancel last year because we had it scheduled and things wouldn't happen. And then in May, we're doing one that's written for the broadcast. It's a modern play. It's called Check Please. It's all about dating, first dates, and so forth.
Nice, nice. Well, there you have it. Guys, thanks. Hang in there. You're the picture of perseverance, and I'm looking forward to celebrating with you guys in the summer and getting things back to normal. Yes.
Well, when we reopen, it's going to be a big production gala thing, I hope.
Fantastic.
So that everybody can come and participate and enjoy live theater again.
Yeah, we need some celebrations. I'll look forward to that one. Hey, we'll be back to wrap up this show right after this break.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear, because for 75 years, he's only said,
"Only you can prevent wildfires."
But there's a lot more to say. Like, if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where'd the cats go on vacation? New York.
That the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Both my legs were amputated due to an IED. It's when you start to try to get back into like an everyday life. I absolutely felt like I lost some of my purpose. There must be something more. When DAV came into my life, they gave me a new mission. I could still be a productive member of society, could still support a family.
The DAV gave him that sense of structure and purpose again to get his life back together.
Visit DAV.org to learn more about our mission.
Well, that's our show for this week. I'd like to say welcome back to Paul Holscher, our cameraman. That's why we're back here, because we have him back there, and it's good to have him back. That was our hot point of today. He returned after having both of his COVID tests, or rather his vaccine shots. That's a good sign that we're back on the road of recovery. We'll be back here for more live shows on Channel 6. We hope to drop on or in about March 2nd. Until then, take care.